The first question was there a way out for corruption? The way out of corruption is actually very simple, but getting there may be very difficult. It's very simple. If you want to deal with corruption, then you prosecute and jail the people who are corrupt, and you confiscate their assets. There are laws across the world which are laid down to do this, but it's simple. It's been invented and it's in operation elsewhere. The question is, can you do it? And that then comes to the second question about strong institutions. Opposition is an institution. If you get a strong opposition, then you will start to move towards eliminating systemic corruption. There are a few countries I can think of where you've got that real dynamic, which one of the panel talked about, between opposites and a well-functioning opposition, which are also badly corrupt. And building these institutions is very important. Now, the second question asked, can weak men produce strong institutions? Well, sir, there are weak men and women and strong men and women in every society. There are millions of strong men and women in Nigeria. The interesting thing, the fascinating thing about institutions is that if you can build them, then their norms and rules transcend the individuals. So, for example, in the UK, and it used not to be like this, but it is now, the idea of any one judge being corrupt is completely unthinkable. They simply don't do that. They may sometimes be prejudiced, they may be bad-tempered, but they're not corrupt. An institution has been built up. There are plenty of other institutions like that. But I mean, crucially, if you want to eliminate corruption and ensure a strong rule of law, you've got to have a clean judiciary and you've got to have clean prosecutors. That gentleman also asked whether there are any prosperous corrupt countries which are also corrupt. Yes, there are countries where the aggregate wealth is quite high, which are also corrupt. China was mentioned earlier. China has many very serious problems of corruption. There are some southern European countries which have quite a level of corruption. But those countries are also countries which are unequal and where their democracy is not properly operating. The last question was about strengthening the electoral process, and is there a role for citizens in developing that? Yes, there is, but you've got to make the electoral process clean before citizens think there is a purpose for them using their vote and other democratic rights.